You are about to spend 12 hours creating a pitch deck for a client who is never going to hire you. But you don't know that yet. Right now, you're excited. It's a great brand, it's a cool project, it's a big budget. So you build them a custom mood board with a creative concept, a detailed timeline, a really in-depth budget. You send it over, you're feeling good, and then you wait. And then you wait a little longer, and then you wait a little longer, and then you realize they ghosted you. Now multiply that process by 3 or 4 or 5 prospects a month. That's 40 or 50 hours spent creating pitch decks every month. And if you're only closing 1 out of every 4 or 5 pitches, that means most of that time led to absolutely nothing. This is the trap that burns out creative businesses and freelancers more than anything else. You're spending more time pitching than actually doing creative client work. The worst part is it's a trap because it feels productive. You know, you're working on your business, but really you're just playing the lottery. Over my career, I've used pitch decks to book millions and millions of dollars worth of projects with DJI, C4, Adidas, Pure Protein, a lot of cool big brands. They can work, but there's a better way to structure your sales process so you're not wasting all this time on these prospects who are never going to hire you anyway. It's called a capabilities deck, and it's completely changed the way that I sell. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what a capabilities deck is, how it's different from a normal pitch deck, and how it can save you hours every single week while actually increasing the number of prospects that you close. Let's talk about the pitch deck trap. The math on pitch decks is just brutal. If you're pitching 3 or 4 projects a month and each pitch deck takes you 10 or 15 hours, that's 40 or 60 hours working on pitch decks that may or may not lead to projects. We all know that some months we spend more time pitching clients than we actually do working on projects for them, which is just so brutal. It's so demoralizing. Because if you're only closing 1 in every 5 pitches, 80% of that time just went nowhere. It was essentially wasted. But here's where this can really start to hurt. This is what nobody talks about. After enough ghosted pitches or lost pitch processes, you start to think the problem is your work. You think your work isn't good enough. Maybe you think that you're charging too much for it. Maybe you need to change your process or to smile more on your calls or to pitch harder, right? All of this leads you down the wrong path when growing your creative business. Because most likely the problem isn't your work or how much you're charging, but instead it's your pitch process. It's a vicious cycle, right? You start resenting this sales process and people can sense that, so you do it worse and they hire you less, and you resent it more and you do it worse and they hire you less. This is one of the biggest reasons why creative freelancers and creative business operators burn out before their business has a chance to grow. So what's the alternative? It's a capabilities deck. What is a capabilities deck? Let's talk about it. A capabilities deck is one single evergreen, always ready document that sells your business instead of just one single project. You can think of it as your greatest hits deck that you're ready to show to a new client at any moment. Let's take a look at the differences between pitch decks and capabilities decks. A pitch deck is custom for one project. A capabilities deck works for every project. In fact, it works for multiple projects, which we'll discuss. A pitch deck shows just one single creative concept. A capabilities deck shows the full range of everything you can do. A pitch deck takes 5 or 10 or 15 hours to create for just one project. A capabilities deck, it's already done. It's ready to send, it's ready to show to a client on a call. A pitch deck gets used once. A good capabilities deck can be used for years. A capabilities deck answers every question a client probably has, and even questions they're not even thinking about right now. What do you actually do? What's your style? Who have you worked with? How long do your projects usually take? What's your full range of service offerings? What are the ballpark budgets for those services? Can I trust you to deliver? If you show your potential client a capabilities deck, it answers all the questions they have in their head before you spend hours and hours on one custom pitch deck for just one project. With the process I'm going to show you a little later in this video, using a capabilities deck like this will help qualify your leads. Are they ready to buy or not? It'll help warm them up to the kinds of services that you offer, and it's going to anchor your prices as high as possible so you can extract the biggest budget possible from your client. Now close your eyes for just one moment and imagine what this means for your week. It's Monday morning. A brand sends you an email about a potential project. Instead of blocking off your afternoon to make this pitch deck or staying up till 2 or 3 a.m., finishing it the night before, you just reply to that email in 2 minutes saying, hey, let's hop on a call, because you know you have a capabilities deck that you're ready to show them anytime. Let's dig into what a capabilities deck actually looks like and the 4 essential components that every good capabilities deck needs. First, they need a really clear description of your services. For example, you could say we do brand campaigns, or we do packages of social content, we do event coverage, or we do brand launch films. You probably already do multiple things within your creative business, but this helps clients see specifically the kinds of things that you can do for them. It helps them imagine what you can do for them. The second essential thing that your capabilities deck needs are portfolio highlights. This is like a trailer for the kinds of projects you want to win next. It's not every project you've ever done, it's the best of the best, the stuff that you're really trying to move more into. So for example, if you shoot a lot of weddings but you don't want to continue doing that, you don't put that stuff in your capabilities deck. You only put the kind of projects that you want to work on more. Clients hire you based on what they see, so if you want to do more of a certain kind of work, you can tailor your capabilities deck to put you down that path. When you're presenting your portfolio highlights to the client on a call, this is a really great opportunity for you to give them more context on the project, how it came to be, what the timeline was like, what the creative goals were, how you delivered. This part is a really important trust building section for your client. It helps them see that you've delivered for other clients in the past and you can deliver for them too. The third thing your capabilities deck needs are your typical timelines for each of your service offerings. How long do these projects usually take? What are the main phases within each project, like creative build, pre-production, production, post-production? This sets really good expectations with your clients. It weeds out the clients who are maybe on an unrealistic timeline. It helps position you as the expert and helps you take control of the conversation and the timeline of the project going forward. And the fourth thing your capabilities deck needs are ballpark budgets. This is where a lot of freelancers and creative businesses get scared because they feel like if they present a budget first, the client might have had something higher or way lower and they're going to lose out on the project because of that. But if you create really smart ranges, you're not going to encounter that very often. Stating your ballpark budgets up front works really great to weed out potential clients who don't have the budget that you need. Now, these are the clients who in the past would have wasted 5 or 10 or 15 of your hours because you were making them a pitch deck for something that's way out of their range. With a capabilities deck and showing them your ballpark budgets, this weeds out those clients who don't have the money to spend right now. So for example, on a call, you could say something like, we do our creative campaigns in the $15,000 to $40,000 range. Does that sound like a ballpark you'd be comfortable with on this one? This helps scare away the clients who don't have big budgets, who aren't serious, or who aren't in your range right now. It also provides a wide enough range so that you have flexibility with the clients who maybe have budgets who are bigger than yours. It helps them self-identify where they might be within these ranges. Later in the video, we're going to dive into more specific examples of how you can draw out the biggest budget possible from your client, so stick around for that. When a potential client reaches out and they're interested in maybe working together, here's how you can use your capabilities deck. They might reach out and say, hey, we have this new project coming up, can you jump on a call? Often what I do with my capabilities deck right after jumping on the call is I say, hey, I just have a quick capabilities deck that shows you everything we're capable of. Do you mind if I take 5 minutes to walk you through that? They always say, sure, go for it. More information is good for them, right? This is when you use the capabilities deck sort of as a presentation outline to quickly show them, here's the main service offerings, here are the clients we've worked with in the past, these are the timelines we're on, and these are our ballpark budgets. If you can walk them through that in 5 or 7 or 10 minutes on a call, that's going to give them a really solid understanding of your business, and it's also going to do some really great work to help anchor your prices higher and to weed out the bad clients. The great part about using a capabilities deck on a call is that it keeps you on track. Even if you're not the most gifted salesperson, even if you hate it, it gives you a really clear outline of what to talk about, when, and why. And it does the speaking for you. All you have to do is read what you have written down in the capabilities deck. It helps you sound really organized and professional because everything is laid out really clearly for the client. They can see it while you're speaking about it. After the call, you can send them a link to your deck so they have that as a reference. They can pass that around to their colleagues and bosses and coworkers. That gives them a really great tool also to see what you charge and what your capabilities are, what your service offerings are. If your deck is laid out clear enough, it does a lot of the selling for you, even if you're not on these calls or if you're not in the room. This can be a great advantage if you're competing with other creative businesses to win the project. If your deck is laid out really clearly, it's going to stand out in comparison to theirs. Using this process with your capabilities deck is going to save you a ton of time. And I get it. I used to do the same thing. A client would reach out, they'd say, hey, we've got got this campaign coming up. Do you want to pitch on it? I'd say yes, and I'd get really excited. I'd get all these creative ideas going in my brain. I'd put these creative concepts on paper. I'd build out this beautiful deck, and I'd send it off, and then I wouldn't win the project. Now, I did it, and I felt busy, and I felt productive, but ultimately, over time, what I realized was I wasn't winning enough of these projects. I was wasting so many of these hours building custom pitch decks. That's why I switched to this capabilities deck model. Most of the time, after I show a client my capabilities deck, they have a really good grip of what I do, and they'll either award me the project without having to build out a custom pitch, or it'll give me an inside lane when I am building out a custom pitch for them after they tell me what kind of service offering they want me to work in. Let me give you a little script and show you my exact process for using a breakdown page in the capabilities deck to draw out the biggest budgets possible from clients, and also to qualify out the bad leads who don't have the budgets that you need. So as you can see here on this breakdown page, it has a grid of your main service offerings, what a sample delivery might look like, a quick breakdown of what's included, and the timeline, and then the ballpark budget. The most I have the capability of charging, but then I also have smaller packages at smaller budgets that can service clients who are at a lower level. So for example, with this page, even if I know I'm talking to a client who wants a package of social content, maybe in the $15,000 range, I'm still going to show them this full breakdown page that shows them, yes, I do TV and streaming. Yes, I do digital campaigns. Yes, we work in the $200,000 zone, but I can also service you at $15,000. This helps anchor my value and my price at a much higher point than what they're willing to spend, and makes what they're willing to spend seem like a great deal. Also, there are different departments within these businesses, right? Maybe they're running the social campaign, but they know the people who do the TV campaigns. If I skip the TV campaign breakdown, they might never know that I do that. So by showing them that, it also opens me up to future possibilities of bigger work. So when I get to this page on a call, I would walk them through each of these service offerings and each of these budgets. And then I would ask them, do any of these ballpark budgets fit what you're hoping for on this project? They might say something like in between maybe tier 2 or tier 3. This gives them the ability to point to a package instead of stating exactly what their budget is. So this gives you a real idea of where their budget lands, and then it helps you draw out specifically what kind of packages you can build for them. After they tell you which of their packages might fit their budget, you could say something like, great, if I send you a pitch in the $10,000 to $25,000 zone, would that be helpful for you to see? I can send over 2 or 3 tiers of budgets so you can see the difference between costs. Most clients will jump all over this and say yes, but what you're doing here is you're giving them an opportunity to say, no, that range is actually over budget. You're giving them a chance to weed themselves out in advance. Last, let's talk about what people often get wrong with their capabilities deck. A great capabilities deck is a combination of a lot of different creative skills. You got to have good copywriting in there that's clear and also inspiring for the client to get them to want to work with you. You've got to have good design, something that looks professional and also enticing and different enough to make them feel like they're working with someone who's doing something special. It's got to have a good sales strategy in it, right? It's got to have the information and the prices really clear, laid out in the proper order so that your sales calls go really well and you're in control of them. A lot of creatives are really strong in one of these areas. Some of them are pretty strong in 2 of these areas. It's really rare to meet a creative who's really strong in all 3. For example, a lot of videographers, they can do design well, but they struggle with the copywriting. You know, some copywriters can make something that works really well, that sells really strong, but they struggle with the design. This is why so many capabilities decks either get halfway built and then never actually used, or they get built, but they're not fully optimized, right? This is totally something that you can build on your own with the information I've given you today, but you need to be honest. Is this actually going to happen in your business? You need to be honest about where your gaps are, whether with copywriting or design or sales strategy. The worst outcome with this is you spending time creating a capabilities deck that you never actually use. That's what we were trying to avoid in creating these pitch decks for clients that don't actually win. It's wasted time creating decks, right? You have a lot of creative skills that you can use to bring real results for your clients. Maybe making decks isn't one of them. We want you to spend as little time doing that as possible. The goal isn't to pitch more, it's to pitch less, but to pitch to the right people. Every freelancer, every creative service business needs to pitch. Videographers, photographers, production companies, agencies, designers, we all have to pitch. We all have to sell our work. That's the reality. But how you pitch can change. It can get better. So you can keep doing what a lot of creative businesses do, which is creating custom pitch decks for these clients that always get ghosted. You can waste all these hours. You can repeat that process until you get burned out. Or you can build a system for your business, a system that does all the heavy lifting up front, a system that filters out the wrong clients before you invest too much time in them, a system that makes you more money. Now, of course, a capabilities deck won't solve every problem. You still have to do good work. You have to deliver on time. You have to take good care of your clients. But a good capabilities deck will remove one of the biggest time drains that you have in your business right now. If you want help building your capabilities deck, right now I'm running a one-on-one workshop to help you build your deck. We're going to build this from the ground up specifically for your business. Copywriting, design, sales strategy, service offering descriptions that fit exactly where you're trying to go. Especially for people who don't feel super confident when they're on their sales calls, a portion of this capabilities deck workshop is a practice session. You and I are going to go back and forth. We're going to practice you presenting your capabilities deck back to me once it's finished. Then I can give you real-time feedback and pointers. We're going to practice these sales calls, so you're going to learn how to confidently weed out the bad clients with no budgets and identify the good clients and draw out the biggest budget from them that you can. This is a one-on-one workshop. Spots are pretty limited. The link is in the description. If you're interested, I'd love to work on this with you. Thanks for watching. If this video was helpful, please subscribe. I've got more videos coming on pitching, pricing, and building a creative business that is sustainable that you love. See you soon.